The narrative surrounding Bruno Fernandes is one of the most persistent in modern football. It's a story defined by his animated protests, his visible frustration with referees, and those moments of perceived petulance that often dominate the post-match discussions. He is, in the eyes of many, the emblem of a struggling Manchester United, a captain whose passion sometimes boils over into controversy. But this popular narrative is a superficial one, a distraction from a far more compelling and statistically terrifying reality. If you strip away the noise, the criticism, and the theatrics, and focus purely on his output and influence since arriving at Old Trafford, you uncover a truth that has been consistently overlooked. Bruno Fernandes has not just been a bright spark, he has been the very engine of the team, performing at an elite creative level even as the structure around him has frequently crumbled. Consider a recent telling performance at Selhurst Park. Manchester United, embroiled in another tense away fixture, found themselves trailing Crystal Palace. The familiar signs of an impending collapse were there. Sloppy passes, frustrated gestures, and a scoreboard that reflected their inefficiency. The game was drifting, threatening to become another chapter in a season of disappointment. Then, as he so often does, Bruno Fernandes intervened. In the 54th minute, he stood over a free kick in a dangerous area. His delivery was not a hopeful, looping cross into a crowded area, but a calculated, flat and incisive ball targeted with pinpoint precision towards Joshua Zirkzee. The striker attacked it and the net rippled. The equaliser was more than a goal. It was a moment of technical clarity in a game of chaos. Later, his quick, intelligent thinking for a second set-piece unlocked the Palace defence once more, finding Mason Mount to sweep home the winner. 2 assists, 2 moments of game-changing quality that single-handedly rescued 3 points. This is not an anomaly. It is the Bruno Fernandes standard. What makes this consistency even more remarkable is the context of his current role. Under the system implemented by Ruben Amorim, Fernandes has been tasked with operating from a deeper midfield position, often forming a pivot alongside Casemiro. This is a significant tactical shift. For years, his most devastating work was done in the final third, in those pockets of space between the lines where his risk-laden passes could slice open defences. Now, he is the playmaker behind the playmakers, responsible for initiating attacks from deeper zones, progressing the ball through midfield, and contributing defensively, all while still being expected to deliver the decisive final ball. Many argued this new role would limit him, that it muffled his most potent attacking instincts. Yet, the numbers tell a different, undeniable story. He leads the entire Premier League in assists this season, with more than Phil Foden, more than Enzo Fernandez, more than any other player. Furthermore, he has consistently led the league in chances created for 4 consecutive seasons. A staggering level of creative output that places him in the conversation with the division's all-time great creators. This evolution speaks to a player who has sacrificed personal glory for the perceived greater good of a team structure. The 2025-26 campaign has demanded a different kind of leadership from Fernandes. It is no longer solely about being the emergency solution, the player who must constantly provide a moment of individual brilliance to paper over systemic cracks. For the first time in a long while, he is part of a more cohesive unit. The reliable defensive presence of Luke Shaw, the composed and authoritative anchoring of Matthijs de Ligt, and the intelligent, system-oriented movements of Brian Mbeumo have provided United with a more balanced and resilient look. Players like Amad Diallo and the resurgent Mason Mount are now sharing the creative burden. This collective improvement, however, has created a new, more nuanced type of pressure for the captain. His responsibility has shifted from being the sole saviour to becoming the standard setter and the tactical orchestrator within a shared framework. The match against Crystal Palace was a perfect microcosm of this new dynamic. For the first half, United controlled possession but lacked a cutting edge. They were punished from the penalty spot, and the team found itself in a familiar, uncomfortable position. Yet, the collapse that might have defined previous seasons did not materialise. The structure around Fernandes held. Shaw provided width and stability. De Ligt commanded the aerial battles, and Mbeumo offered a constant outlet. This foundation allowed Bruno the platform to do what he does best: decide the game. His first assist was a masterpiece of set-piece execution, a delivery born not of hope, but of design. The second was a testament to his footballing intelligence, a quickly taken free kick that exploited a disorganised defence. Once United had the lead, Fernandes' role evolved once more. He dropped deeper, helping to shield the defence, breaking up Palace's attempts to counter, and using his possession to manage the game's tempo and see out the result. With that performance, he quietly surpassed a club legend, Paul Scholes, in Premier League assists for Manchester United. This milestone is not just a number. It is a monumental achievement that cements his legacy in the pantheon of the club's great creators, sitting in a bracket below only icons like Ryan Giggs, Wayne Rooney and David Beckham. The frustration he displays on the pitch is not a character flaw, but the raw passion of a world-class operator who understands the gap between the team's current reality and its immense potential. He has been the one constant in an era of profound instability, the creative heartbeat that has never stopped beating, even when the team around him has faltered. The truth about Bruno Fernandes in 2025 is this: he has successfully evolved from a pure advanced number 10 into a complete, multifunctional midfielder, all while maintaining his status as the most prolific chance creator in England. He is not perfect, and his emotional style will always attract debate, but he is undeniably irreplaceable. He is the captain who sets the standard, the creator who defines the attack, and the leader who, even when asked to play out of position, continues to lead the league in tangible output. As Manchester United continues its arduous climb back to the summit, the contribution of Bruno Fernandes will be remembered as foundational. He is the player who refused to let the standards drop, the one who kept creating, fighting, and leading long before the rest of the team was ready to fully join him.